Well, joining us tonight to discuss further on the ceasefire deal is Rachel Lester, who once served in the IDF spokesperson unit for 4 years. It's good to have you join us on the news at 7 tonight. Is Rachel?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we do hear a few moments ago that Hamas seems to have breached that agreement. Did you see this coming, saying that sometime in 2023 in November, if my memory serves me right, that was the first time we're going to have a ceasefire deal, which was also breached at that time. Now we are having a similar scenario play out. Did you see this coming, Lester?
I think everybody in Israel saw it coming because Hamas is a terrorist army that can't be trusted no matter what they say, no matter what deal they sign. They are always, and in history have always been the ones to break the deal, whatever deal it has been. And we in Israel were very frustrated today to find out that Arbel Yehud was not on the list to be coming home as was previously agreed. So it's very unfortunate that Hamas decided to violate the deal, but what can you expect from the terrorist army that we have come to know so well? I can only hope that they will keep true to their word from this morning and release Arbel next week. But I think every Israeli saw it coming, and I am just glad that the ceasefire is still in effect and that the quiet is still being held and that we still got 4 of our girls home today. Thank God.
Let's look at some of the possible reasons why that deal did not materialize. Does it have anything to do with the details of that agreement? Because in all honesty, a lot of people want to see the successful end of this bargain. But what could be the reason for this? Could it be sketchy details about the agreement? Could it be political?
I think that Hamas is unpredictable and they thrive on keeping Israelis in a state of constant psychological terror as much as they can. And I don't think there's a logical reason that Hamas decided to not release Arbel today. I think that they are just trying to play games with Israelis' psyche and the state of Israel as a political whole. I think they're just trying to push us as much as they can and see if we're gonna, if we're gonna fall for their games. And I'm really glad that the government decided today that they are not going to allow the released terrorist back into northern Gaza. It's, an unfortunate reality that we can't withdraw our soldiers from northern Gaza yet because Hamas has proven themselves to be untrustworthy, as they have always proven again and again that they are untrustworthy in everything that they do and they say. But I don't think that there is a logical reason. I think they just have their terrorist mind games that we have to, we have a gun to our head and we need to get our people home. And this is the horrible deal that we have to negotiate with them.
Yes, this is the second time we're going to have this issue come up again. And like you said, you're not surprised in this pan out. But why is it taking so long for a ceasefire deal to be reached and not, of course, breached?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Why is it taking so long for us to have a successful ceasefire deal? Because this is the second time this is happening without you sounding modest. I mean, why should this take so long? Because observers are really looking at why this is really taking so long, really.
Because Hamas is unwilling to abide by reasonable conditions. I mean, we saw today that in exchange for 4 teenage girls, we had to release 200 terrorists, and Hamas has just been playing the long game since October 7th, demanding unreasonable requests and making Israel, putting Israel in a position that is impossible for any other country to possibly imagine dealing with, having to have these terms. And I think this ceasefire would have been reached so long ago if Hamas had been willing to release the hostages under better conditions for fewer Palestinian convicted terrorists. I think Hamas has gone into this war with showing that they have nothing to lose, that they don't care how many civilians they put into harm's way in order to just torture Israelis, to keep the hostages as long as they can, to keep the world angry at Israel for as long as they can. And it didn't really benefit Hamas to have a ceasefire earlier on because they were winning the war of public opinion in forcing Israel to look bad in everything that was going on. So I think the Hamas's, funders and benefactors finally had enough and said, okay, this bloodshed of innocent people on, both sides needs to end. And they put pressure on Hamas to finally say, okay, it doesn't matter that you guys don't want this, that you guys want to keep these innocent Israelis as long as possible for bargaining chips. You just have to let them go and be a reasonable partner here. And I think it's only because of the pressure on Hamas that we finally are getting our hostages back. Israel has been ready to do this deal since day one, has been wanting to do anything they can to get the hostages back since October 7th. And it only is because of the pressure on Hamas that we are finally able to see it come to fruition.
Well, Rachel, somehow, somewhere, there has to be light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, this can continue to grapple for as long as anybody would wish to. But let me put you on a spot, Rachel, before I let you go. What do you think can be realistically done to promote Israeli and Palestinian peace?
The first step is always re-education. I think that the US and the UN and Western countries around the world need to get involved in what is being taught in the schools in Gaza and the schools in the West Bank and change the narrative of what is going on in the Palestinian society, that they will do anything to, keep Israelis in a state of terror, and that their leaders would rather see Palestinians killed than see Israel survive next door. And so I think that when you change the way that kids grow up and that you push a narrative of peace and tolerance instead of a narrative of death and destruction, that's the only way forward. And I think that it's the world's responsibility to take action and to say to Hamas and to the other Palestinian terrorist organizations, enough is enough, and we are not tolerating this anymore, both for Israel's sake and for the sake of the poor, innocent Gazan civilians, Palestinian civilians who are under this terrorist regime and suffer from their own leaders. The world just needs to step in and change the way that these people are raised. And only once the entire society accepts that Israel is here to stay and that the Jewish people are not going anywhere, only then can we move forward in a peaceful way. Because Israel wants peace, but Hamas and the Palestinian leaders want anything but peace. And it's time to, promote a peaceful Palestinian society that will be a good partner to the Israeli people and not tolerate Hamas's reign of terror anymore.
Richard Lester, once served in the IDF spokesperson unit for 4 years. We do appreciate your time on News Blitz tonight, and hopefully you would oblige us when we call for your analysis once again. Thank you so much for joining us, Rachel.
Thank you.